Blackhearts Bay, game number 1. Our first best of 5. We are in the winner bracket semi-final. And the playoffs have been a blast so far, but this is where the real party starts. Once that the best of 5s are in the house, this is where the crazy comms are really beginning. Now, we had a couple of interesting picks already before, but obviously the first rounds being best of 3, still, we'll see. Right now, we have 22 heroes pre-banned for the entire playoffs, so those heroes cannot be played at all. And with the typical Meta Madness rules, every hero that gets played cannot be played again in the same series. So as we're headed into game 2, 3, 4, 5, it's gonna get crazy. Washed Up and the Raiders, they both won their first round match. This is a double elimination system in the playoffs now, so there is a loser's bracket, but everybody wants to get not only to the winner bracket final, but also to the grand final through the winner's bracket. A lot less games to play, so let's see if they can actually check that one out. But yeah, I'm very, very curious who's going to win there. The favorite is the blue team. Let's be honest. They are super strong. They're one of the top 3 teams in the tournament, and we'll figure out together now if they can take the series. But the Raiders had some really nice games themselves and are always good for a cheeky win, especially with Meta Madness rules. You don't always know what you're up against. Sometimes there's just this one pick that completely catches you off guard, or somebody that put a cheese composition together that you might not be aware of, and then chaos reigns. I said that before, but what I still want at some point is that a team that thinks that they are the underdog in the series to just sacrifice game number 1, pick only healers or something else, and just eliminate an entire role. And then after that, all of the games are going to be insanely chaotic, and they might have a better chance of winning. So that's a strategy I haven't seen yet, but for a best of 5, that would make quite a lot of sense. So could be pretty sweet. But either way, we now have Samuro banned out, so Sven doesn't get him again. Blackhearts Bay is also our starting map, so that is going to be pretty fun. We have the starting map for round number 1 is Haunted Mines, the starting map for round number 2 is Blackhearts Bay, so we're going to see that a little bit more often now as well. Junkrat gets banned, probably one of the stronger heroes that is still available for picking. But with globals playing a big role here, I want to see if the players from the start are aiming for the globals, or if we're going to get different strategies. We still have Greyman around as well, so he can be super useful if you're just trying to take some structures apart. But we get indeed the Hogger as the first pick for this one. And again, as in the group stage as well, a big shout out to the people supporting the channel on patreon.com/Khaldor. There's 2,000 euros of prize money on the line, all financed by the community. Tournaments like this and the last ones that we ran wouldn't be possible without the community support. So guys, if you want to join that, you can go to the Patreon page. A link is in the description of the video if you watch this on YouTube. But a big shout out to everybody who's supporting the channel there. Without you guys, this wouldn't be a thing. We wouldn't have this tournament. But thanks to you, we are getting more Meta Madness action, this time at Blackhearts Bay, between 2 pretty solid teams. I mean, we started with 16 teams. In the group stage, of course, we had the 4 groups of 4, and some of the games were a bit more one-sided, which led to fun games and comps too. But on the skill level, there were big, big gaps, as to be expected from an open tournament where everybody can sign up. But now that we're heading slowly and steadily into the later rounds of the playoffs, things are, of course, getting fairly spicy. Falstad is in, which means that we have now a double global for the Raiders. So they could really just try to play around the opponent here, around Washed Up, who started with a Nuburak and Stukov. So fairly standard comp, or at least opening for them. Could even be meta. And with a stun plus Stukov and the Lurking Arm, a lot of good tools for them. But it's already getting interesting, because imagine ETC for just a second going stage dive here. All of a sudden you have 3 globals. So yeah, that would be kind of crazy. We get a ban on Jaina. Thought process behind it is, of course, that you have the stun and then the Lurking Arm from Stukov just hitting a single target. Jaina comes in with burst damage. One target gets eliminated. If you do that to ETC, he's pretty much dead. If you do that to Falstad, he's gone. We got Chromie So she's going to be the burst damage just after we had Jaina banned out. And Zul will be the one to rotate between the mid and top lane. Mid and top lane on Blackheart's Bay are so close to each other that back in the day you played Johanna and Asmodan here and tried to stack Asmodan up. That's where that strategy came from initially. But Zul is also fantastic to move between lanes. It's not only true for Blackhearts, we've seen that on so many different maps. We've seen it on Sky, we've seen it on, I mean, even Infernal Shrines, and of course on, what am I thinking about here? Tomb. We've seen it quite a lot too, but on Blackheart's Bay, it's super easy for him. Whitemane and Tychus, the picks towards the end. Okay, so game number 1 already showing us some interesting picks here. We're still waiting for Nick to lock in his hero, and he is of course always the X factor for the team. I mean, he's been playing Kel'Thuzad in one of the previous series, so I would expect big things from him in the best of 5 with this many pre-banned heroes. And he starts things off with Phoenix. Now, part of me is happy about that. Part of me is a little bit sad, because I was looking forward to seeing Murky plus Phoenix with Octograb and Planet Cracker again. I guess we're not going to get that in this series. But either way, Blackheart's Bay, the series is starting up. A winner bracket semi-final between the Raiders and Washed Up. Get ready! Hazops on Chromie for Washed Up. We have Copenhagen on Zul, Yasu, Gesundheit on Stukov, and Nick on Phoenix with Bad Benny playing Nubarak in game number 1 of the best of 5 series. To the right side of the map, it is the Raiders with Sven on Dehaka. We have Gavlo on Falstad, Uki on ETC, Unforgiven playing Whitemane, and Nano with Tychus in the first game of the series. So it seems like we have a focus onto the bot lane from the red team now. Obviously, always the question on where exactly are you headed. Seems like the blue team is moving as 5 towards the top in an attempt to take vision, but that will potentially allow a little bit of damage down at the bottom of the map. No, they're actually not making a play for the structures. I was expecting them to be maybe a bit aggressive in the first wave, but they just leave Tychus down there. They were probably more so afraid of Anubarak, because normally you like to do that strategy with either Sylvannas, who is of course pre-banned. She's part of the 22 heroes that cannot be taken in this tournament. But Anubarak can spawn beetles when he engages, and they soak up tower shots easily, so the Raiders split their forces because they were expecting a more aggressive opening and push, which, yeah, didn't really happen over here. But talking about aggression, we have some at the bot lane, and I guess that's going to be the end of ETC. Yeah, that Sandblast hit hard. Very hard, and that is the end of the front line. So Sven gets also pressured. It's exactly the opening that we more or less expected here. A couple of the balloons are already being taken. The advantage, of course, for the Raiders is that with all of the globals that they have, they can play a bit more around the turning points and try and get that set up. But it is a wild map. Blackheart's games have been really interesting. The snowball can be quite strong, but also what happens sometimes is that a team just holds too many doubloons, then they lose a fight, and all of a sudden the entire thing flips within a second. So it's absolutely crazy how sometimes the momentum swings when you're losing a battle just as you're holding 15, 20 doubloons. And they are playing aggressively now for those chests, and in the case of Dehaka, it leads to his demise. So he goes down, which also ensures that all 5 of the balloons at the top chest are now in the hands of Washed Up. But they're doing even more damage. I mean, they're coming now in with Zulia in the middle, and he is just crushing it. Absolutely crushing it. Totally crazy. Bam, that wall is gone. And of course, oh, the bird is gone too. Oh, that hurts now. That really hurts. You're losing 2, in total 3, and you've lost the entire wall in the mid lane. Now the problem is obviously that any map that attacks structures directly, like Blackheart's Bay, or in this case, or Sky Temple, the more structures you take down without the objective, the stronger your objective is. Simply because it attacks the backline structures much, much faster. And they are starting to turn in some of the doubloons, and they're getting really close to the first cannonball barrage. Yeah, if they get a kill against ETC and take even more doubloons away from the Raiders, that would be such a fantastic start into this series for Washed Up. But already they're looking incredibly powerful here. It's noteworthy though that Anubarak did not complete the turn-in because they saw an opportunity to take another hero down and go for it, so they cancelled. But we have Master Assassin on level 4 now. We have also Mobile Offense against the target acquired. And with Anubarak claiming another 2 doubloons, he's now sitting at 9, so he can easily complete that unless Uki sees him. Nicely done. Waits it out. Ooh, but yeah, he gets out. There's nobody that can CC him. If ETC would have still been there, then maybe it could have been a problem, but as is, that's not really the case. So Sven is trying his best to meet the pressure that we're seeing from Zul. Yeah, ETC with another slide, but he actually was able to get out of this one. Level 7 talents are now in for both of the teams. Haven't seen a barrage yet, but the attacks are still happening in the middle of the map, and they're targeting the Haka again. Nice drag though, but they're not able to go for the kill just yet, or are they? No, they do. So they get the kill. The problem for them is that he didn't hold any doubloons, and now we have Nick coming in. He's trying to take down White Mane, and Scratch are trying because he gets the kill. They take Phoenix down too, but there's still no doubloons that have been handed over to the Raiders. So they've been doing a really nice job holding on to all of that. We have 13 in their hands right now, and here's another big hit against ETC, and they nearly got the kill. If Yuki dies, there's another 3 gone. But now Anubarak is finally turning in. He gets away. The barrage is starting. And that means that the fort in the mid lane is going to get destroyed. And the fort at the top lane is at least going to take damage. If not getting dropped as well. But talking about getting dropped, Chromie, the fake dragon, gets eliminated. Benny is able to get out. No grade or anything that takes him apart. But this is a 5-man for the red team that is now bot side, which means that there's a lot of space and time for Zul to push the top lane a little bit further. The fort is taking damage here, as you can tell. It's not going to get dropped right away, but with Zul now hammering away at it, they might just be able to take it. Now he's a bit afraid of a rotation, and rightfully so, but they still did good work with the first objective. 1 fort down, another one at half HP. They still have 12 doubloons, so that's a full turn-in that they're holding. But the Raiders, they are responding. They have 6 on ETC that they just turn in, so they secure them. Level 10 abilities are now available for both teams. No surprises here. We get the salvo without Murky and the Octo Grab. That was to be expected. I don't think Planet Cracker in this case is what we are getting. Would have been an interesting interrupt tool, though. I give him that. But off we go. We have another battle potentially in the middle. The issue is really that top lane now. I mean, Zul pushing. Phoenix could help out here as well. And it's all about them trying to go for Dehaka now. Falstad is dead at the bottom of the map, so that's a 5 versus 4 situation for the blue team already. And with Cocoon, they can force that fight even harder. Big shove, get the hell out of my fight. They're forcing Dehaka down. Zul is going to take that top fort as a result. With Dehaka forced into the battle, they're going to lose so much at the top. And they know that everybody's here. So the isolation connects, but the stun is there as well. And they should be able to come out. Nice! Great party time here. Yeah, ETC is showing everybody a good time. It's a double kill. An attempt by Nick to turn it with at least a kill. He doesn't get it, but Zul is destroying their top lane as we speak. Falstad had to move in there. But this is exactly what I talked about earlier. Nick griefing a bit too hard. Nick was definitely griefing a bit too hard here. No reason for him to be so aggressive around it. With the 7 doubloons that he had, there was no reason to pull that one off. Gaflo gets a kill against Zul. Falstad is going to make it. There's of course a lot of structures that are now falling here. The entire front wall is gone, but still, that is probably worth it. Now they get a barrage started, which means that the mid fort is now going to get destroyed. This one will be eliminated. But there's 2 forts gone on the side of the Raiders, and even more importantly, they dropped the wall at the top keep. So it's interesting. It's actually going to be really wild, because now we have an experience lead and a talent advantage for the Raiders. They lost a lot of structures, but with their turn-ins, they can now try to bring this back. Nick losing this many doubloons was a big problem. Huge problem. They might be able to bring a few of them back, though. If they... Oh, yes! And yeah, pretty much already happening. So some get delivered. They still have ETC to deal with. That's another 4, if I'm not mistaken. Eyes at 3. There's the stun, and it should be the end of him. And they even try for white main again. That doesn't quite work for them, but ETC at least gets destroyed. So they're reclaiming some of their doubloons here. And Nick is trying to bring a few of them back, I guess. He felt sorry for them, so he said like, okay guys, I'm going to give you a chance to get another 5. Yeah, so much for that. Nick with an absolute rundown at the bot lane. And you know what? It was so beautiful. We're going to look at it again. So here he is. And then he realizes that he's running a little bit out of space down there and gets killed by the fort. So yeah, job well done. 5 lost. We now have the chests up again. Fawcett is pushing the top lane out, so the globals are starting to pay off. But we also have more and more doubloons locked in by both teams. 17 now in the hands of Washed Up, and 12, just enough for a barrage by the Raiders. So can they deliver? Yeah, they're getting real close to it. Getting real close. The chest is, by the way, still up at the top. Top chest still in. 14 to 14, 8 kills to 8. And Chromie is starting to fire away here, 1 hit at a time. Lot of wiggle room for Zul. So, yeah. Down to the bottom, the turn-in is finally happening, and that means that the top fort is now going to be eliminated. Barrage is going to focus onto the top. That fort is going to drop, and then we have both teams with the same amount of forts on the map. Now, the structural position is still a little better for the blue team. They already nearly eliminated the one at the bottom. They have done a lot of damage at the top wall, so all of that is gone, meaning they turn in a few more times and those keeps are going to be in real danger of being destroyed. So nicely done from Washed Up, but I like the way that the Raiders are trying to fight back here. Both teams, of course, interested in getting leveling 16 as quickly as they can. And it's all about the camps now. Get those camps, try and put some pressure on the lanes, or relieve it in the case of the top lane here for the red team. But try and get these turn-ins. And talking about turn-ins, I mean, Sylvannas 5 hasn't really sniffed this out yet. They're already starting to ping this. And they are trying to come in, I guess, from behind and try and get the hit here. Yeah, look at Anubarak. He's sneaking in. The Arca is dead. The Arca is dead. He didn't realize that there were so many heroes at the bot lane. That is 5 doubloons gone. 1 shot still gets fired. They couldn't prevent that. They got the barrage, so the rest of the cannonballs are going to focus the mid lane now. And this is really going to hurt the red team. Yeah, they're losing a lot of ground, and they're losing way too much ground. The death of the Hogger was a huge setback. Losing 5 doubloons is also a problem. And with now the bot lane getting attacked, if they get a few more doubloons connected, then oh boy, it's gonna be bad news. But Nick, okay, he makes it out, gets out. They try to turn it on ETC, and I guess he's not gonna make it. ETC is gone, the bird is cocooned, and if they have a stun, then it is death on him. No, good heals from white main, not good enough though. Nick moves in again and drops him. Jesus, the momentum is real. The momentum is absolutely real. Look how much damage they're doing here. If they have 22 doubloons, if they just get another barrage going with cannonballs, 2 keeps will fall, and the one at the bottom, they don't even need the cannonballs. They're just coming in, taking it down right away. At the top side, there's a camp that has to be deleted by the Raiders, but yeah, it is crazy. Great damage being done now. Washed Up against the Raiders. The turn-in happens, and once that the turn-in is completed, it means that the keep at the mid lane gets destroyed, and very likely this one is going to fall too. Maybe it survives. Yeah, the Hogger was trying to interrupt because they know how dangerous this situation now is. They already lost the bottom keep. There's going to be continuous catapult pressure now through the bot lane. But as predicted, this one's gone. And this one is not going to make it either. So they go for the Hail Mary move. They go full all out with the aggression and they kill Chromie. That's pretty much what they got to do here. Be aggressive, try and make a play, and hope for the best. Their keeps are all gone. And they need to recover some of these doubloons. They need to make sure that there's not an additional turn-in from Washed Up, or the core is going to be eliminated. And Phoenix is now at the bottom of the map, so they're still trying to go for a little bit of side lane pressure. The danger is that he has 8 doubloons. If they lose that and they end up in the hands of the Raiders, then they can bring this back, and they need to prevent that from happening. But I like the move for the boss now by the Raiders. They know, of course, that if the boss at any point gets taken by Washed Up, the boss goes core, and the game is likely going to end. But that means that all of the doubloons that Washed Up still holds can be safeguarded, and that's what they do. They turn in with Nick. They are at 11 now, and that's just best case scenario. You only need 5 more. That is 1 chest to get another barrage. The Hogger already has to deal with the bot lane and the catapults that are here. The team is trying to push through the top. The goal obviously is to at least get a keep now. But there is a pressure play at the bottom of the map, which means that they're going to force a recall. So the recall is going to be forced. And it seems like they're going to kill the Hogger. The Hogger, oh boy. Close call, my friend. Very close call. Yeah, so we got camps coming in. Top side. They're not even hearthing. They're not even going back. They're not afraid here. They should be. They definitely should be. Catapults are in. We got the globals back here. But the core is losing its shield. And now they're trying for the kill again. And bye-bye birdie. Falstad is dead. The top keep might fall. But I'm a little bit afraid that the Raiders might have overplayed their hand. And are now going to lose the game on this one. So they took the top keep. They're trying to race this apparently. Good luck with that. I don't think that's going to work out. The core is already at 60% over here, 50%. And now the level 20 talents have also been dropped into the hands of the blue team. Even Tychus dies. And that is all she wrote in game number 1. Washed Up takes the lead in the best of 5 at the winner bracket semi-final against the Raiders.
Before we head into game number 2, make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it yet so you don't miss out on any future content here on Khaldor TV.
Game number 2, Infernal Shrines. Alright, Washed Up has taken the lead, looking good on Blackheart's Bay. But the chaos that is Blackheart's Bay definitely was noticeable again. I personally absolutely loved how Nick was just hinting at the fort. I think he thought there was enough space so that he could just dodge out to the bottom and get away out of range, but was very quickly... I had to very quickly realize that that wasn't really the case there. So with that, we're now headed into game number 2, Infernal Shrines. Now keep in mind, this is a best of 5 series, but at this point 22 heroes cannot be taken because they have been banned for the entire playoffs, and 10 heroes cannot be played again because they have been played in game number 1, aka 32 heroes are now out of the pool. In total, we have 90 heroes in the hero pool. More or less 89, because again you have Cho'Gall still to consider, so there's that. But 32, pretty significant chunk. This is a third, a little more than that. Infernal Shrines, obviously a great map for Kerrigan. Kerrigan, it's a hero that Nick has played so many times and destroyed entire teams that everybody still has massive respect for that particular pick. And therefore, it's not a surprise that she gets banned out here. But Nick has always been playing these X-Factor heroes, and he brought a lot of those heroes back into the normal meta, so I would assume that in Meta Madness he's also going to thrive, because he can play some of the picks that he might have fun with, but that didn't really work out in the competitive scene. So, yeah. Junkrat also getting banned. Melganis is out as well. I mean, it looks to me a little bit like that they played this series against the Frenchies earlier, where they had to deal with Melganis and Infernal Shrines, and they just said, like, not again. Not again. Screw that guy. Mephisto, also off the board. Therefore, first pick now for Nano and his boys. What do we get? There's a lot of players, but I'm very, very curious what they are going to pick. And it's only game number 2, and obviously right now it's a little bit different from the group stage. In the group stage there were a lot of games where on the first and the second map we already had some insane picks. I mean, we're talking Gazlos, Murkies and whatnot. One of the reasons was simply because the gaps in skill in the group stage were pretty big, so the teams that already had some wins under their belt and said, okay, we are most likely qualified for the next round anyways, we can start to troll it up a little bit and have some fun here. They just embraced that, and they embraced the spirit of the tournament. Now on the other hand, we're in the playoffs, so there's a good chunk of prize money on the line, so of course you want to win. You're going to try hard as much as you can, and that's where the real beauty of Meta Madness kicks in, because everybody is still trying to look for compositions that work for them and that they can still puzzle together, while at the same time they have to play with the restrictions. So Kharazim and Stitches are now the picks on the red team, and they can go for an isolation move with Stitches through a hook, maybe even Gorge, and then use the 7-sided strike on Kharazim to try and drop the target. Whereas for the blue team, we have Malthael and Ana. That is already very annoying to deal with, because an Ana boosted Malthael with Tormented Souls is rough. If they drop an Uther now, too, then they could go into the Holy Trinity. Divine shielded Malthael with an Ana boost. He is gonna wreck. And of course, the Raiders, they are no strangers to that particular composition, so they just say like, not on our watch. We're not gonna deal with that shit. So Uther gets banned, no Divine Shield for Malthael. He can still be super powerful and super annoying. And of course, they also can add another mage, so Ana doesn't have to even rely on Malthael alone. She can get somebody else as a decent nano boost target and then play around that. And well, there it is. Orphea picked again. We get Tyrael together with it. So Sanctification, likely the choice on Inferno Shrines. But yeah, this is a fun one. I love how Uther was immediately banned. If you've ever seen that triple plate and Malthael just murdering an entire team, you know extremely well why they did that. So they saw that coming and was like, ah, that ain't happening. Malfurion and Sonya, so we already have a double healer. We already got a double heal from them. That limits the pool of healers for upcoming games. If this is going to be a 3-0, maybe a 3-1, I'm not sure if it's going to matter too much, but if this is going to end up with a 5-mapper, that particular double pick here on the supports might make a difference. Abathur, also, I like it. So we got Abathur and Ana for the blue team. Ladies, here we go. Game number 2. We have a 1-0 lead for Washed Up. Let's see if they can make it a 2-0 or if the Raiders are now bringing it back and tying the series. Game number 2. Washed Up is in the lead and is trying to extend that lead in this best of 5. Hazops is playing Abathur. We got Copenhagen on Malthael, Yasu on Ana, Nick on Orphea, and Bad Benny on Tyrael. To the right side, it's the Raiders with Nan on Gul'dan, Uki on Stitches, Gavlo on Malfurion, Unforgiven on Karazim, and Sven is playing Sonya. So already with a double healer here, meaning that they only have Gul'dan as real range damage, and he is headed into a Fellflame build, whereas Stitches is playing with the globes on his level 1. So it's a real tanky composition that they have here. Now the squishies are mainly the supports, especially of course Malfurion. Gul'dan is also someone that they could try and target, but he will get his Horrify on level 10, so always gotta be careful to play around that. To me personally, it's real fun to see Hanzo on Abathur. This is very, very old school. Having him on Abathur is super, super old school, and it's just awesome. There's a couple of things that he could do with this now, because we not only have Malthael that he could focus on, but we also have, in addition, that Tyrael, who can be incredibly annoying when he gets some symbiote support. Gavlo is the early victim of Orphea and gets attacked right away. So the schoolgirl is out once again. Nice color coordination here, by the way, by Nick. I like it. And he's just shredding, taking Gavlo down. Malfurion doesn't stand a chance. Damn, son. That one hurt. 1 minute mark. Gavlo just pulled a Lauba over here. Right, very early. Yeah, he got chomped away. Nicely done by Nick, I gotta say. Level 1, we got the Slumber Shells, we got the Ancestral Strength, the Justice for All is also in the house. And, well, yeah, here we are. Then he getting attacked. Oh, the hooks, they're all committing to this. And there it is, the kill against Tyrael. It's explosion time. He connects with 2. That might just be enough to turn it around, and it is. They get 1, 2, 3, they pop all of them. Holy hell. Damn, they just thought they had that fight, and then Tyrael's explosion gets some mad value, and they're getting all the kills. Check that one out. Beautiful. The explosion comes in, and then afterwards, it's just carnage. Utter carnage. Malthael with Abathur, they're taking everybody down. 3 kills. I mean, damn, son. Not too bad. Top side now. They're 1 level behind, 1 kill to 4. Sven slamming away here, but yeah, that definitely changed the balance quickly. Nice stacks on Gul'dan. He's nearly done with this. Goes into a bit of a hybrid sucky with level 4 health funnel. But the shrines are activating, and there's absolutely no doubt who's going to hit the early level 7. I mean, absolutely none. So with that, there is a very, very good chance that the first Punisher ends up in the hands of Washed Up, at least if they play their cards right here. It's another 14 seconds, and they're going to get super close to the next talent. So we should get that down to the bottom of the map. Hook attempt from Mookie. That could have changed things. If that hits Anna, drags her over, that's a different story. But it didn't play out that way. Malthael is already on the shrine. And yes, there are a few heroes for the red team around, but they're mainly dealing with the camp. Sonya is now making a play. Let's be honest, H shouldn't really happen. Now, she's doing a decent job getting a few of the stacks together, and with now Gul'dan also chipping in, they're going to maybe even get a lead. But as all of this happens, Stitches is finding himself in trouble and gets killed. Level 7 kicks in, and this is going to be the moment where Washed Up is going to take over on the shrine. Just also to... get clapped! Yeah, that hurts. Nick is crushing it on Orphea. I mean, holy shit. He's at 11,000 damage, 3,000 ahead of Gul'dan already, and we barely started the game. So he is doing some serious work with her. And I'm more so surprised that the Raiders are still trying to win this one. Well, then again, they are ahead, and there's the kill. You know what? They're actually pulling this off. Not only do they get Orphea, but they might even get a kill on Malthael here. The good news for them, of course, is that they have 2 supports, so their sustain is incredible. And they've taken the lead on the objective. The bad news for Washed Up is also that they have Abathur, so that always means they are lacking 1 hit point pool in these team fights. Probably the main reason why the Raiders were still feeling confident to engage here. They themselves have the sustain with the double support. Abathur can't really help enough to make up for that, and therefore they claim the objective. So well played. Very, very well done. But here comes again another attempt by Orphea to chunk them down, and they're getting the kill on Malfurion, and they're not stopping there. They're going straight again for Stitches, and the front line has no chance. Stitches is gonna go down. I mean, if you go for Bikini Stitches, with that thong, he can't really move fast enough. Every single step is pain. So now we got 7 kills to 2. They're heavily ahead on the kills. Still lost the objective though. So yeah, it's a fun one. I like the idea with the double support to go up against Abathur in the early game. The problem for the red team is it's not quite working out as well as they were probably hoping. We have an adjustment with the level 7 talent with the network carapace over here. So chance for Abathur to push out the side lanes a little bit more aggressively. And now level 10 for the blue team. So this is the moment where they would just love to take a fight or two. Sanctification, the ultimate evolution, obviously. And we have, in addition to that, the last rites. Ana hasn't really made a choice yet. Could still go for the pew pew pew, but goes for the nano boost. Maybe a debate with Nick here, who knows? But Nick was just sitting there, is like, wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. I'm already clapping, and you don't want to give me nano boost? That ain't happening. If you ever want to draft... Oh, there's the leave. Oh, Sonya just jumped to her death. Okay, that was kind of funny. We're going to take another look at that. Obviously, she was trying to get out of range, but let's just say it didn't quite work out. So there it is. Here comes the last rites, and then she jumps away. She got away from Orphea's ult. Good news, but, well, the last rites was enough. Gul'dan dead. At least he killed Malthael, so they're trading kills. But this is a fun one. Kills just all over the place. They're just going ham. Oh, 9 kills to 3. Quick move towards the top now. And yeah, Abathur is going to be a bit of a pain. Again, level 7 talents on Abathur. It can be annoying. And the bigger the map, the stronger the talent becomes. You just help minion waves, and it will eventually push these lanes out. So if he can split off the fight in a situation later on, then that's going to be pretty nice for them. The best value that you usually get is if you have the shrine on one of the side lanes and the teams are in a bit of a standoff, where everybody is just trying to wait for a good situation and a good engage, and Abathur has the time to just split the symbiote towards the side lanes before he has to assist the team with a real battle. So if it ever comes to that, then Hanzo's going to get a lot of value out of it. Until then, he's still going to, of course, do his best, and you can see it here again. It's going to force the Raiders over and over again to escort some of their heroes towards the side lane and help them out there. But this is a perfect situation. So you get just a little bit of time on the lane and on the front, and it helps you to pretty much obliterate the entire wall. Best case scenario, right there. Next objective in the mid lane now, Stitches with 15 stacks, so he's increasing his hit points with the level 1 talent. The level 13 advantage is there, inevitable end for Malthael. And Orphea with the invasive miasma. Gorge on... yeah, I don't think it's going to help them too much. Seven-sided is there. The leap as well. Great sanctification from Benny, saving Malthael. That was well done. Horrify got also used, so a lot of ults that got YOLO'd out in that fight, but nobody died. And that is pretty decent news for Washed Up, because they have the level 13 advantage, they still have the ultimate evolution, and in addition to that they also have Last Ride. So they have still a few tools in their tool belt that they can use in this battle, and they're trying to do that, holding ground to zone them out even further. Stitch has attacked and killed the Last Ride. It's pitch perfect. That's the second stack for Malthael, 10 seconds cooldown reduction now. Looking great. Absolutely great. And the lead is going to extend further. Abathar, topside, slap it, baby. Slap it. Coming in, doing the work. No mule, though. Can't mule this one up. But obviously still saving it, at least for the time being. Now the Raiders are picking up their level 13 talent, so they're getting that. At the same time, we have another attack down at the middle as they're trying to make another play for the fort and drop this one. This would be the first fort to fall. Stitch's hook gets evaded. So, yeah. There's the play by Orphea. Oh, chunk it, baby. This time the leap saves Sonya. But obviously, you're usually not picking leap because you're thinking about jumping out the entire time. You kind of want to stun the opponent, engage, and get kills. And currently, the only thing that they can do here is try and save their butt over and over again. Hasn't helped them with the fort. Fort is down. And now it's about level 16. Now, good news for Stitches. He is one globe away from picking up another 5% movement speed, so that will put him to 10. If he gets a Gorge, that makes things a little bit easier for him. Yeah, that hook didn't go anywhere. Gul'dan, 30,000 damage against the 36 that we're seeing from Orphea. Not really in the choke point. Benny not gonna have an issue here. Alright. I mean, Hanzo is obviously paying attention here and always helping out with another symbiote whenever they need to. So, yeah. We got... yeah, nice. Hanzo, obviously, as an RTS player, previous RTS player, he is really good when it comes to just get general map awareness. And he saw Sonya coming from a mile away. Sonya was hoping to get a jump onto him, leap in, stun him out, get a quick kill, and then retreat, and that just didn't work out at all. Hanzo covering his bases here, having a couple of toxic nests also on the side, but even before that he was already starting to move away. And here are the level 16 talents, so the talent advantage is once again there. Malthael is playing it uber safe. So, since they didn't really know where the red team is, they played this out slowly. And Sven is dead again. This combo is just crazy. Nano boost got used here, so they used the ults to get the kill. And that was obviously a big one. Once again, it's a 5 versus 4 in favor of Washed Up. Yeah, and they're doing just a great job here. They're controlling the flow of the game perfectly. The extra talent helps them even further. In this case, we get the adrenaline boost. And already Benny with another sanctification. They're dropping all the ults here. They want the kills. In comes the Last Rites. This time he doesn't get it though. Dodges out on the hook. But it's a bit unfortunate for them, because I think if they all targeted the same hero, they could have gotten the kill. Keep in mind, there's still a double support to account for, so that is the big issue when you're trying to go up against the red team now. They might not necessarily always have the damage that they need, but they definitely have the survivability tools. Then again, I say that, and they died 11 times. So, yeah, always got to take that with a bit of a grain of salt, I suppose. Stitches with the 20 stacks now. Level 16, soon TM for the Raiders. One of the reasons, by the way, why the blue team was so aggressive around all of this and got all of their ults out is because they knew with the timing of the shrine that they would have these ults back for the shrine itself. So there was no real need to hold them back. They were trying to look for kills, trying to go for an advantage because they perfectly knew that they didn't need to fight before the shrine is up. Their ults would be back in time for it, and that's exactly what you're seeing here. Yrel is the one that has to wait the longest. He has his ult back in 15 seconds, so not a problem here at all. Damage output, 42,000 for Fia, way ahead of Gul'dan, who's at 37k. And they are getting a little bit aggressive here in the middle. Yeah, Abathar is already taking a very aggressive position here too. Way out, they're just splitting on the sides. And you can tell that the red team didn't really expect that. So they are currently at the top. It's a 1v1. And if you know one thing about Abathar, then it is that he does not respect 1v1s at all. The problem is that Malthael just doesn't like living. I honestly don't understand what exactly happened here. Earlier, down here at the fort, Malthael went all the way back and was hiding here because he wasn't sure where the red team was. Now, I thought it was pretty obvious that they're topside. And he just YOLOs after Sonya gets flanked and killed. I mean, what? That was a bit wild. They get a counter kill on Stitches, but obviously there's now a Punisher for the Raiders. So the Raiders have their Punisher. Abathar is going to try and get them some value at the bot lane. Rotation into the middle is coming. Without Stitches, they don't really want to fight, so they just let them bait this over. It's going to be an easy defense on the Punisher. Bigger news for Washed Up is that all of this is just playing into their hands in the sense that they will get level 20. But of course they would have hoped and loved to do more damage. If you, in this situation, can maybe already get a keep before your opponent's level 20, I mean, even better. Next objective is going to be pretty impactful, theoretically at least, because it will maybe result in the first keep being taken. But it's 2 levels that have to be bridged, and one of the things that the red team is now trying to do is get to level 20 as quickly as they can and close that gap by claiming camps. Gives them a bit of an extra boost and could help them here. But already off we go. This time we get the final curtain for Malthael. Final curtain, not the no one can stop death. They're going in deep, Sanctification is out, and yeah, they're doing the same thing again. They're trying to force a fight, they're trying to get some ults out quickly to get a cheeky kill, and it doesn't work. This, on the other hand, worked well. Inevitable End gets used, Malthael attacked again, Leap this time aggressively, Horrify used too. They're going for Yrel. Also carries him, and he is alive, dead. He's still living. He's alive with 30 HP. Malfurion, what a helping hand. Uki, you god. I mean, wow. Malfurion owes Stitches at least a beer, maybe 2. That would have been the end of Malfurion, 100% if not for that. Check this one out again. Have a look at this one. First of all, look at Kerosene getting away with 30 hit points, and then the hook of God to make sure that Malfurion lives. Damn. Damn. Nicely done. We got 27 stacks for Stitches. Nothing to write home about. This is not gonna make mom and dad proud, but it's a start. But they get more camps, and I like this because every single camp that they claim gives them a little bit more XP and really helps them to close this gap before the next objective becomes relevant. So, yeah. Stitches. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. That's stack number 3 on the last rides. They get the kill and they can siege up on this keep a little bit. Might not be able to take the entire thing, but they can definitely siege up here, just slightly, until Stitches is back. So yeah, the damage is being done slowly, steadily. Objective not announced yet. There it is, Shrine at the bot lane. Abathar dealing with the top. They drop it down to 70%, but now it's time to retreat and try and get the lead there. And maybe help out Abathar just a tiny little bit. That might not be a bad idea either. So yeah, do some work for him, get another camp here. Stitches will be back just in time for the shrine. They're going to be a bit late to the party. Still something you can play for. And there is the level 20 talent. This is pretty much what the Raiders were waiting for, right? Epiphany, we got the Haunt. They were playing for level 20. They had 2 levels to bridge and they did it. Partly because they were able to get these camps, but also because they were diligent with the lane experience here. So off we go. We have the big battle, or one of the big ones. Abathur's still dealing with the top lane a little bit. Should be alright for them. But the fight down here is centering quickly around the shrine. And Abathur can pull the copy. Ults are all up for both teams. Orphea sitting at the side. 64,000 damage for Nick. Stitch's hook not hitting anything. Neither does the root. That's already bad. Have to wait for the cooldowns to get back. Sven, bit in trouble. Immediate engage. Last rights being used. Not a problem. Not a problem. Low cooldown. 15 seconds have been taken off thanks to the stacks. But look at this one. Malfurion in trouble and gets out. Sanctification used. Nicely baited. They get the objective though. And while they get the objective, at the top lane we also still have the camp in. I think it will be taken out by the fort itself, so not too big of a problem. But down here, another hook, a gorge, and they get Orphea. Nice arrow, but it might not be enough. Orphea, the ult, and they kill her regardless. Orphea is dead, and so is Malthael. That's how you stop an onslaught. That's how you stop an objective. At the top, Benny gets also followed by Karazim, and Unforgiven is not forgiving anything here. He's really going at it. Damn. Everybody's trying to help Benny out, but he's barely getting out of the fight. And Unforgiven still hasn't given up here. He will have to now, because the fort is there. But boy, oh boy. So yeah, mid lane, the keep is taking more and more damage, but it will not be destroyed. Down at the bottom of the map, we have the Punisher about to be defeated. Nano has to be a bit careful, but he can still suck that one dry, and that is that. So, top side instead. Play for keep, the Raiders. Look at them. Getting really aggressive here. I like it. They're doing their best to win this game. They're doing their best to get ahead. They're using every opportunity that grants themselves now. Abathur, of course, massive pain in the butt, especially in the combo with Tyrael, as you can see here. So they're isolating him fully. There's the leap. They go for Anna. Orphea is in and crushes, but doesn't crush enough. Sonya is dead. Karazim is dead. Anna is down. And now the last rights eliminates Malfurion. And oh boy, did they just suffer. All shall suffer. Leo is not even in this game, and I can hear him. Yep, they're crushing everything. The second that Malthael came back, I mean, good for the Raiders that they at least killed Anna, but of course, it's still a bit of a disaster. Best news for Copenhagen would be if that little battle between the two of them would pan out long enough for him to use another last rights for the kill and more cooldown reduction. He's sitting at 20 stacks, but just look at Nano. Nano's trying to escape here. Once that Abathur is in, I think they could have gone for the kill here. Benny could have dove in for this. Didn't. Now the keep is gone. And yeah, they're realizing they might not be able to end the game here. Not with a few heroes that they have, but what they can definitely do is go for keep number 2 at the bottom of the map. More catapult pressure. More pressure, more better. So, 17 kills to 7. Keep number 2 eliminated. They're a little bit low on this one. They didn't have a support there, so they had to retreat. Plenty of camps still up to take. And now it's 2 lanes that will heavily push against the Raiders. They still got forts on both these lanes. Which of course means that the Raiders have to be hyper-aggressive now. Even more than before, yes. They gotta get kills. It's the only way to bring this back. Get kills and get them fast. Yeah. Look at Karazim. 7-sided strike as well. Horrify is in. They really want this now. No, the leap didn't connect. Anna is alive. And Anna is dead. Karazim takes her down. Malfurion has also been eliminated. Karazim is gone, so Gul'dan is gone. Oh boy, that's the beginning of the end. Everybody dead and dying for the Raiders. I mean, they tried. They really put on quite the fight here. I gotta give them that. But now they're just getting crushed. Absolutely murdered. The Angel of Death with another kill. 91,000 damage by now from Malthael. way ahead of Fia 2, who gets eaten and escorted towards the keep. But I don't think this is going to happen for him either. Seems like we're looking at a 5-man wipe. Maybe he can get away from this one, but I get bad news for the Raiders regardless, because their core can't run. Stitches might be able to run away, the core is not so lucky, and there's nobody to defend it with the exception of Stitches, and they're already starting to slap him around too. There's the last rights, 5-man team wipe. Everybody dead. 2-0 for Washed Up. They take the lead in the best of 5 and force match point on game number 3. Let's go. Game number 3, Battlefield of Eternity. Washed Up is in the lead with a 2-0. So if the Raiders want to stay in the winner bracket, they have to pull off a reverse sweep now and try to win 3 in a row. If not, then they're going to get dropped down into the losers bracket, and Washed Up would be the first team to make it to the winner bracket final. Now, this is game number 3, which means that we have now 42 heroes banned. 22 heroes that are not available for the playoffs at all, and 20 heroes that have already been played. And that is going to make things, interestingly, pretty much immediately. Now, I gotta admit that part of me hopes that Washed Up is gonna lose this one, simply because I want to see more maps and more crazy comps. Normally it's the later rounds of the tournament, of course, where you're getting the 4 mappers, the 5 mappers, and not necessarily the early encounters. And there is no denying that Washed Up is one of the favorites. I've been talking about this before, but we have a couple of teams here that are likely gonna fight it out for the title, for the top 3. There's always upsets that can happen. We've seen plenty in group stage 2. But Washed Up, it would be quite the upset if the Raiders are able to fully take them down here. But then again, as we progress through a series, more heroes are banned, more crazy compositions are going to happen, and the more comfortable you are with that, the better your chances to maybe take them down after all. We know that when we are playing normal meta, Washed Up is looking nearly unbeatable. I mean, we have seen their endless battles with Team for a while. But, of course, Meta Madness has its own rules, and things can very quickly change when you're starting to burst out the Gazlos, when you start to burst out Zagaras and whatnot. So the bans already start to reflect that. We have Suljin ban, good in Battlefield of Eternity, when you remove a certain amount of damage dealers. Arthur's getting banned, haven't seen a whole lot of that happening before. And then again, it's a ban on Sven Samuro. So Junkrat also eliminated in the ban pattern. And what are we getting as the first pick now? Yeah, Varian. Varian's still up. Now, a lot of the supports that you would normally try and get to pair them off with him are gone. But Varian is still fairly powerful at the front. Okay, so what's the opening for Washed Up? Part of me, the part of me that hopes that we are going to see more maps is also because we've seen some extra supports already picked. That makes it immediately interesting. Especially if somebody comes in here and says like, oh, you know what? We're going to go for another double support. At some point you're going to run out of healers. So here we are. We got Lunara and we got Deckard Cain as the opening gambit by Washed Up. Whereas the Raiders now have to show us what exactly they want to do with Varian. Triple support Meme Strike. That would actually be funny as well, if at some point we're going to get a Varian with Meme Strike, Abatha, and then 2 supports behind it or something along those lines. Ooh, Tyrande. Kind of slipped my mind that she was still there. That's a lot of CC already. I like it. Gravity Lapse, Tyrande Stun. Also good against the Immortal, obviously, since you can use her Hunter's Mark against it. And Varian. So, Taunt into another stun, and even more stuns with Kel'Thas. Not too bad. Yep. And Artanis gets banned. Only in Meta Madness. Only in Meta Madness, everybody. Does Artanis get banned because of amateur opponent? And I guess if you taunt somebody, then you have also an immobile swap target, which you could abuse a bit as well, depending on how you play it. Frontline gets attacked, Mei gets banned out. That's one of the first things that is going to get eliminated, the actual tanks. Now, there are plenty of side laners that can be used as a tank. Imperius is probably the prime example. But, yeah. Right now, we still have options, but still. I like what the Raiders are thinking here. Rexxar is taken, and here's Imperius. I told you, they are moving to those. They have to. Yeah, the final 2 picks now for game number 3. Oh boy. They also need another side laner. They need somebody on the side lane. Maybe a little bit more damage from afar, but even a triple melee here, not that big of a deal. So, how crazy is it gonna get? Hogger is, by the way, still up. Not gonna be picked here, but if it gets to another map, Hogger is an option. Vikings and Alarak. Alright, Vikings on Battlefield of Eternity. Let's go. And we got Gavlo and Alarak. Oh boy. Oh, what's Benny gonna pick? Are they gonna swap Imperius over to him? And pick something for Nick, or what's it gonna be? Final pick! Tank Nazebo, let's go! BOE, game number 3 in the best of 5 here. The winner bracket is semi-final between the Raiders and Washed Up. Prepare yourselves for battle! Battlefield of Eternity! And the party, I don't want to say begins, but it might end here. Right now we are looking at Hanzo on Lunara. Him playing Bambi in game number 3. We got Copenhagen on Rexxar. We got Nick on Azebo, Bad Benny on Imperius, and Yazu on Deckard Cain. And it's kind of funny. You ban out 42 heroes before the draft starts, and all of a sudden the Vikings are starting to appear on BOE. Not the typical Viking map, but Sven is pulling them off, or trying to. After all, none on Kel'Thas for the red team, Unforgiven on Tyrande, Gavlo on Alarak, and Uki is playing Varian. You're slowly starting to run out of heroes here, but I like what I'm seeing. A lot of damage over time already for Washed Up. We currently have the Thing of the Deep for Nazebo. He's not that shitty of a hero on Battlefield of Eternity. We've seen him in the past here. He can play... Oh my god, somebody's going for the washing machine. That's a really interesting variation of it. I usually only know the Crater on Sonya and the Panda plays, but in this case, we are getting a zombie wall washing machine. Yeah, that was also kind of funny, so yeah, let's go. Oh boy. Let's see what Nazebo can do as the game continues. And also we have a lightning build by Alarak with the extended lightning over here. The lightning surge, he's going to try and get it stacked up on level 4 in particular. A couple of stuns coming out, this one a little bit too early. But I like the way that they're CCing this one. So Nick is going full Nazebo on us. The good thing is that when you have Nazebo with the Thing of the Deep and you complete it, you can, on every objective, just simply get a bit closer to the Immortal and just drop some spiders on him. And that's really gonna help. So, they are starting to fight for the camps. Vikings are, of course, gonna be super interesting. If the Raiders can try and get some extra damage going there, I would absolutely love that. We have on level 1 the spy games. I gotta say, I really liked when we had still ammunition on the towers, and that's when the Vikings obviously had some extra tools on their talents. I really don't agree with Blizzard's decision to take ammunition away completely. Maybe there was too little ammunition on the towers and had too much of an impact, but I would have loved if it would have still have been an option on structures. If generally speaking, maybe ammunition was increased or somehow changed slightly. It was a cool tool that was pretty unique to the game. And I think it's a shame that they took it away completely. But, well, then again, long time ago, obviously. Top side, we have the Vikings, just all of them right there. Blood Ritual has been taken on level 4 now. We got the Grizzled Fortitude for Misha and Rexxar here on the side of Copenhagen. Whereas, as expected, we're now getting the Taunt, we're getting the Negatively Charged. Eric the Swift has been claimed, so a bit of a very heavy focus build on Eric. And the typical build that we've now seen multiple times here with the Energy Royal taken for Kel'Thas by Nano. Very likely gonna go into the Sunfire Enchantment again on level 7. He's played the hero, I want to say, 3 times, 4 times throughout the group stage, and now here. So there's a pretty good chance that he's going to continue with the same build. They have the CC now, so they can really try and go for kills quickly. But yeah. We have another quick hit. Hello, sir. Yeah, Hanzo has to be careful too. Not really the biggest hit point pool, so whenever the fire spreads, he needs to be careful that he doesn't get burned too hard. Bottom of the map, Vikings are trying to hold some of the experience, but Nick is mercilessly pushing through with it. There needs to be a bit of an assist. I mean, that's a bit too much for Olaf to deal with. So yeah, Nick is right there. And Sven is doing some work on this. I kind of like it. Comes in with Eric and is doing his damage as best as he can. Just rushing around as quickly as possible, but down here the fort is nearly gone, so this is the power of Nazeebo. And even with Alarak now coming in, Nick has already done his job. He had the camp, he has escorted it in. Now we have Kel'Thas falling. They try and get the counter kill in Copenhagen, but the Rexa is fine and is still making it out here. Tyrande dying too, that's 2 kills to 0. And that bottom fort is nearly gone. Structurally, Washed Up is taking a big lead now. And there is an attempt to take that core down quickly, but with Nazeebo, Lunara and everybody else now focusing topside on the red team's Immortal, they are the ones to nearly win the halftime show. They barely lose out on it with just another 100 hit points lost. So yeah, it's getting a bit bananas, honestly. Right now, what do we get here? A quick push for the Immortal. Can they take it down? Sunfire Enchantment is in, by the way, as expected. The Zombie Wall got upgraded with the Dead Rush here. And Nano is again in trouble, and the Spiders are nibbling. Good move against Misha. That could have been the end of Kel'Thas once again if Misha gets the stun connected. And now Tyrande finds herself in the same predicament. So he's dead, she's dead. And that's 3 kills to 0. What an opening here for Washed Up. They are already in a match point situation, but this is a fantastic start into game 3. Bot lane nearly destroyed. Top side, they have the Immortal, they get the kills. And the strategy of the Raiders does not seem to work out right now. The wall easily taken apart. Yeah. This is getting nasty. They're losing ground on all lanes. Nazeebo at the bot lane is still getting attacked, but now Alarak drops topside. 4 kills to 0. Oh boy, yeah, this is hurting. This is really hurting. They gained so much momentum in the previous series already, but just look at this. Nano gets dropped too. Jesus, Washed Up. They're going through the red team like hot butter through cheese as they're netting themselves kill after kill. They destroy the first fort. They go down to the bot lane where they can eliminate another one. And this is only 6 minutes into the game. Nazeebo is now capitalizing on the range. They're trying for the Vikings. They are easily falling too. Ooh, yeah, level 10 is nearly there. Tough. Tough times for the Raiders. They need a reverse sweep in order to stay in the winner bracket. If they lose here, they're not out of the tournament yet, of course, but they would drop down into the losers bracket. They still have another chance to make it into the grand final. Now we get the Ravenous Spirit on level 10. They're taking the camps, claiming them easily. And it's just a question of what do they want to do with the heroic abilities. It's half a level of a gap. The gap is actually a little bit smaller than I honestly expected it to be. But can they capitalize on this a little bit further? That's the question. Push the wall down at the keep, for example. I mean, that's what they're trying to do now at the bottom of the map. Maybe get a kill. I mean, they're trying. Misha is suffering the consequences as they go a bit too deep. But as you can tell here, that damage over time is hurting. And Nazeebo is crushing. Absolutely murdering it. So, yeah, tower down. They nearly destroy the gate as well. Now level 10 is finally available for the Raiders, and this is the moment where they have to try and make a comeback. So we get 13 stacks now for Alarak. Not enough. If he can stack into the late game, that would of course just be perfect for them, because they need something. But they also deal with the Nazeebo on the other side. And the stacking isn't too bad for Nick. He's at 75 now. It's not too shabby, considering that this is a 2-lane map. And those lanes are pretty far from each other, so it's not like he can just pull a Tomb of the Spider Queen and rotate between lanes easily and get double minion waves. Halftime show easily taken by Washed Up now. They're looking good, not gonna lie. They're really looking good here. There needs to be a big awakening of the Raiders. And there's a tricky play. They're trying to come in with more damage. Lunara already going for the meh, jumping over. But good stun combo. Good stun combo. That's kill number 1. That's kill number 1. There we go. Imperious down. That is maybe the start of a comeback attempt from the Raiders. That kill was important. They're trying for more. They're trying for Misha. Yeah, well, they get her, so there's that. Vikings are dealing with the side lanes. It's one of the reasons why they are still so close in experience, that the Vikings are in situations like this used to keep them in range. Best thing that they can do here. Dealing with the bot lane now as well. Yeah, good combo also against Deckard Cain. It's Tyrande, though, that falls up here at the top. Deckard survives. They're trying to come in again. Alarak gets wrecked. Double kill by the blue team as they are aiming for another objective where Nano trying to rush away, can't make it happen, so he's dead too. That leaves Uki, who they're also trying to take down. Level 13 talents are in. He gets away for now. Stun, and that is the end. Varian is dead. Lunara deals with the objective. It's immortal number 2 for the team. And they're already dishing out the pain at the bottom keep. Boy, oh boy. Washed up. Really, really doing a number now. The Raiders are losing ground so quickly here. They save their keep. But holy hell. At any point when they move in, they can take it. He's dodging what he can dodge, but Imperius eventually dies. While all of this plays out, though, Lunara is still at the top together with the Immortal. Half of the team, of the red team, is now rotating over to try and deal with it. But it should at least take the wall down. You won't be able to get too much done here. It's 10 minutes into the game, so it hasn't scaled properly yet. But yeah, that at least is going to happen. So here we are. We already have the hits coming. Tower down. And, well, they are hoping of it. They have level 13. Now, again, the experience gain is there. On the experience side, the minion XP is really good for the Raiders, thanks to the Vikings. They are doing fantastic on that. If not for that, they would be so far behind right now, they could never recover. And it's already bad enough as is. They are one level a bit more even behind than that. Yeah, Nick is of course hoping that he can sneak in there. The goal would be to take the keep down. Can't quite make that work. Deckard with another setup. Tyrande, she's trapped. Yeah, and she's dead. Very cool combo. Very, very cool combo to take Tyrande down here. That was incredibly well done. I mean, Deckard Cain has already attempted to set some of these traps up a little bit earlier, and now it just went absolutely perfectly. That keep at the bottom of the map is obviously going to get destroyed right now, but that was nicely done. Nick with the perfect timing also on the ult. Now the keep is gone. Bottom keep is destroyed. With 11 kills to 3, they are also closing in on level 16. And things are just getting worse and worse and worse here for the Raiders. Now we got 25 stacks for Alarak. He's at 116 sadism. The guy is starting to do a bit of damage, but it's just not enough to really catch up. This Thing of the Deep has also been completed for Nazeebo, which is a problem in and of itself. If it ever gets to 20, if Nick wants to, he can go for the Viral Infection here. We have him on 38,000 damage. Alarak is at 30,000. It's the talent advantage that is the biggest issue now. Talent advantage is really a massive, massive problem. So, they are trying. Down at the bottom of the map. Yeah, the hits keep coming. And they're going again for another kill, baby! Yeah, yes, they get him. Benny down. So at least they take the tank down. They try for more. Topside gets also pressured as all of this happens. Yeah, I like the Ravenous Spirit attempt, but wow, with that... That stun was glorious. And it helps them to get Varian and Alarak. That one was great. Damn, Nick just beasted through that. That was just so damn good. They're chasing Tyrande. She's on the run. Unlikely that she is going to get out there either. Yeah, she's going to die eventually. Now, they got an Immortal up. They were maybe for a moment thinking if they should go for the core instead. And honestly, I guess they would have if not for the Death Timers. We're so early in the game that the Death Timers are not really that high yet. Yep, that's going to be the end of Unforgiven. Staggered Death. They are going for the Immortal at the same time. Camp was at the core, but you can't really go for it. The death timers are just so low. It's pretty much impossible. So, with that, they are now going for the next Immortal, and this one would obviously just slap that keep out of the way. They're gonna try and stem the bleeding, I suppose. They don't have Tyrande, so they can't really engage into a fight. But just look how quickly the Immortal disappears here. They're melting it away. That's a huge shield now. 80%, and they're even going to fight beforehand. There's no healer, there's no Tyrande. So Alarak gets attacked. Varian is about to fall. Bam! Get wrecked, son. 1 down, 2 down, 3 down. Everybody just gets popped. No chance whatsoever. 19 kills to 4. Washed up. One of the big favorites in the tournament. They're just here to bully the opposition. And that is exactly what they are doing. Bullying them time and time again as they're making their way towards the core and to victory. The 3-0 seems to be inevitable unless the Vikings all of a sudden go on an absolute killing spree, and I don't think that's happening. So this is game washed up. They move on to the winner bracket final as they take down the Raiders with a 3-0. Great series by them. Job well done, and congratulations as they drop the core and take the victory, take the match point here on Battlefield of Eternity. GG.
Thank you everybody for watching the video today. I hope that you enjoyed the show and the commentary. And keep in mind that the spoiler protection that is going to run for the rest of the video is made possible by all the support on patreon.com. So guys, if you want to support my work, if you want to help me start new projects and keep the spoiler protection in place, please consider heading over to patreon.com/Khaldor. There's also a link in the YouTube description, and check that out. Thanks in advance, and see you guys next time with more esports coverage here on Khaldor TV. Have a great day.